This week we have the Naomi E flat in the aureate finish, which just means gold, from China. Now, this is an interesting whistle that I procured through eBay. Naturally, I'm sure you can buy them on Amazon and through some other outlets. It is interesting in that it has a sort of very thick, what I believe to be an aluminum alloy barrel. It has a removable headpiece that gives you a little bit of room, and it was clearly molded from pink plastic that has been painted black or coated in some way. Now, this mouthpiece has a curved windway, and it is flat underneath the windway, so there's no need for a blue tack tweak. It's actually very similar to the mouthpieces that have come off of some of the Sasato clones that I have in my collection. So there's really a limit on the amount of tweaking that one can do to this whistle. Its pros are that it looks okay. It has a nice bright tone and a lot of volume. It's not the hardest whistle to play by any means. And I do like the idea of the curved windway and that there's no cavity under the windway. The cons, though, are numerous enough. I'll start with the body. It is textured like the Meiju whistle from China that I mentioned before. And although it might give the appearance that it would make it easier to grip, it actually makes it sort of slippery in a Teflon pan sort of way. So one has to hold on to this whistle. The mouthpiece, being similar to the Sasato clones, has, I guess, sort of the same limitations. It requires a lot of air in the higher octave. It gets a little shrieky doing any jumps between octave 1 and 2. It's interesting because it requires very little air for the lowest notes and a lot of air for anything above the high E flat and so forth. It looks to me like the headpieces are molded from plastic that was recycled from somewhere else, because I have another Naomi whistle that is yellow inside instead of pink like this one is. That may be a pro, that may be a con. Don't know what to tell you about that. On the whole, it's a decent sounding whistle. It's okay for practice. I think it loses in playability what it would gain with me in tone. The tone is kind of great when everything lines up right. Bright and bird-like. There's a bit of hiss coming through the head that you may not hear on your end, but the player really hears it in his ear, but it's still not as much as, say, the Sweet Tone or some of the other whistles that I've played. Is it a good beginner whistle? I'm not sure. I think so, simply because this was about $8 US. It doesn't have some of the issues of some cheap whistles and has other issues that are with other cheap whistles. So it really becomes a compromise. I think it's not bad. It's not my favorite whistle. Probably won't buy another one. But I do think that someone who got used to the breath control and spent a lot of time practicing with this particular whistle could learn to use it to great effect. It has strengths. Not really for me in the long run. For me, it's another Sasato clone that just has an interesting metal body. Again, it's not a bad looking whistle. That wonky sticker might have to go. I don't know. It might be worth it for you to try one out. I have to give it a rating. I know, not very conclusive, is it? That was the Naomi E flat whistle from China. And I look forward to seeing you again next week. Thanks for watching. We'll play something and try something completely different.